And right before I click the button to go live.
Ah, good. That one could be for the Outcast peeps.
Yeah. You too can celebrate.
Very good. Oh, which... I guess that means we're live, because I forgot to DND my phone again. I'm not gonna lie, I think... Speaking of Patreon and stuff like that, I think Mackie might have broken me on Friday.
Okay.
Because I was... Basically, I think we discussed it last week, how the amount of content some people put out as part of their Patreon is disproportionate to other people.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We put out a lot, but I think the Bamfcast has the highest amount of content. I'm not going to say it has the best content, but in my opinion...
Well, they're not TVGP, so...
Yeah, but I can't say that we're better than them, because there is a conflict of interest in that.
Ah, sure.
So let's say that, excluding TVGP, the Bamfcast is the best Patreon I am subscribed to, and I'm subscribed to another 2 other ones, and it's like, I really don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of this stuff.
Right.
So either do I lower my Patreon or move to a different person, because somebody else just started putting stuff out on their Patreon. They're like, I love you as a content creator, I love you as a person, and the thing you're putting on your Patreon now is really tempting for me. So I'm
Can we put
debating
a plug for them?
It's Erica Moen.
Oh, they have a Patreon. Great.
Yes, she has a Patreon.
Of ojoysextoy.com.
Yes. She has a Patreon, and she recently discovered she did a 365 project.
Oh, yeah.
So she's putting that up on her Patreon, and it's absolutely hilarious. Like looking at photos of her and her husband, like throughout that time, and she's promoting it as part of her Patreon now. It's like, I'm really tempted to move my $5 over to this person instead of the person the one it's currently on.
Well, her and her husband make such an incredible amount of really great content.
Yeah, and the fact that they seem to be an incredible team, and also, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of like... I'm curious, I hope Jess doesn't mind me saying this, but Erica Moen is an American woman, her husband is an English man, and that was a very cool discovery for me, because just as I started dating Jess, I started really learning about Erica Moen thanks to Strip Search Season 1.
Yeah.
And I started looking into her stuff and looking into that, and it's like, it does work. Here is proof that it can work.
That's a good point, yeah.
So, like, I've always been kind of grateful to them for that, like, having that connection ability. And it's like, if I ever have, like, questions about English stuff, living over here, I literally reach out to him and be like, hey, have you got any recommendations for this?
Right. Is there anything similar over here?
He'll usually respond to me because he's been here longer than I have.
That's cool.
So I'm at that point now where it's like, I might just switch over and like start doing them. When I was talking about on Twitter, I mentioned getting rid of one of my current patrons and moving over to somebody else. And having just done Torchwood Season 2, Episode 1 on the Doctor Who U episodes, where literally it's Gwen telling off Jack because Jack is being off cavorting with the Doctor. And she sits there and she's saying to him, like, you left us, Jack, you left us, except in a Welsh accent.
Right.
And literally Mackie's response to me talking about possibly switching a patron is, don't you leave us! And I was fucking gone. Like, I was broken for like 20-30 minutes. I just lost it.
That's so good.
Like, I mentioned it to Jess, and I responded with Gwen laughing gif, because why not? But that thing just broke me so much. So thank you for making my Friday night, Mackie. It was hilarious.
Oh man.
And yeah, Boston, go watch Supergirl Season 1 specifically, please. Like,
yeah, where are you watching it?
Netflix.
Okay.
I'm never going to be on top of all this stuff, but they do a pretty good job of bringing the comic TV shows to Netflix. Usually it's a year behind. So like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm a year behind on that, and I'm trying to get up to a year behind on the DC stuff. But man, that Supergirl season 1 is really, really good.
I will put it in my list right now. Done.
I give a shit about someone with super in their name, and I fucking hate Superman. Like, with a passion.
Yeah.
The only time Superman's ever been a good character is Injustice.
Yeah.
And that's kind of because
totally a dick.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just trying to see if we have anything here last minute. It looks like I'm ready. Are you ready to start this thing?
Yep, one moment.
A ceremonial turning off of the AC.
AC and fan.
And fan.
I'm gonna fall! Ah, no, I didn't fall. Good.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Or so they say.
Clearly, they've never played football with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Heyo.
Swish.
Okay. Oh yeah. My pen. If you're a patron, you know how much I hate this pen.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, get a new goddamn pen.
I have one right here. That's dead. Notice I haven't thrown it out yet. And I, yeah, you
like
have
one
a
of mine?
whole suite of pens. I don't know where any of my other pens went.
I'm a giant stationery nerd, dude, though, so not only do I have a whole suite of pens, I also have a whole box of post-it notes.
Ooh. Very nice.
Pads and paper everywhere.
Okay. Are you ready?
Boop. Boom, boom. I'm curious if you got that reference.
No.
That was the Degeneration X Heartbeat Start, which the song starts with, "Are you ready?" Boom, boom.
That would be a reference I wouldn't get.
Yeah, because I'm a giant nerd, and for some reason my brain just went crazy. So let's get the show going!
Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Vampyr.
Hello, Governor.
A couple of pieces of news here at the beginning. Number 1, it's episode 567, which just tickles me for no real reason.
Because it's in order.
Yeah. Game Club voting for the next game is live right now for patrons at any level. You can choose between 3 titles, as is customary. It's a surprisingly tight race between all three of these. So
I'm curious if it's still the same it was when I voted.
It's been going back and forth over the last couple of days. So there's a little bit over a week to vote. I'll usually close the poll if one game pulls out ahead pretty quickly. But this one will be open for a little bit here.
Okay. I'm not saying anything. I very much would like to move the vote in a certain direction because I believe we've had an ongoing conversation about how my wife constantly says that Game Club is rigged because it's never a game she's interested in.
Right. She has lost a couple months in a row.
Yeah, and there is a game on this list that she really wants it to be. So it should be fun to find out if it wins.
Yeah, go vote, and we'll find out in a little under 2 weeks.
Oh wow, it's that close already.
Yeah, I know. We're currently playing Ori and the Blind Forest on Xbox One and PC. If you want to join in, it's not super long, so you still have some time to hop in. Well, but with all that news out of the way, let's get down to what you've been playing this past week, Vampyr.
Okay, let's talk about Vampyr. Hashtag 2018's Alpha Protocol.
Yeah.
So, Vampyr is... I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this without swearing.
Okay.
It's very much one of those games. It's a bit like the Telltale Game of Thrones series, or probably any of the Telltale games. There is no positive direction. Things can go bad no matter what way you go.
Right.
So far, I have, essentially what happens, the progress through the game is you go to an area, you learn of the pillar of the community and their effects. So that the pillar is the person who's kind of holding that community together. You learn of all the people, you learn of all the social interactions between them. Everyone's got a backstory. This game is incredible if you love story.
Right.
And then usually the end of that particular area is you have to make a decision that affects the pillar of the community in such a way that things will change.
So it's almost like the end of a Witcher quest, where it's like they give you 3 options and none of them are good.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what they do, because you literally get 3 options. So I made the wrong decision twice so far.
Uh-oh.
And things bad. Like real bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like not unrecoverable, just questionable. There's been some deaths that we won't talk about.
We're sort of full in on spoiler territory at this point, right?
Yes, that's 100% why I'm trying to be as vague as possible.
Yeah.
Is because there are decisions that you can make that will very, very heavily affect the areas in question.
Oh man.
Let's say I made a bad one.
Okay.
And we'll see how things go from there.
That's kind of exciting though.
Yes, and I'll be honest, I really kind of want to do another playthrough and make different decisions at a lot of these points.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning more and more about the individual characters, their effects, their interlinks between... Really? I still didn't switch my D&D on? I'm such an idiot sometimes.
At least you don't have that crazy frog ringtone anymore.
Yeah. Instead, I just go with the default Android one. Oh no, the default Motorola one, I should say. Well, yeah. So, Boston, please play Vampyr before the end of the year, please.
I want to.
Like, please, because I need somebody to talk about this game with.
Yeah.
My wife bounced off it pretty hard due to the very high difficulty spike before all of the patches have come in,
and the general brokenness of it.
Yeah. They've done a lot of good work with the patches. Excuse me. And yet, the story just keeps getting more and more interesting. What I thought was going to be a relatively simple vampire in Victorian England kind of story has turned into a multi-layer, multi-faceted organizational class structure argument between both regular people and the vampires. There is a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background, and I really just want to learn more and play more and talk about it with somebody, but I can't because it seems like nobody I know is playing this thing except for me.
Well,
so yeah,
I recently got a Amazon gift card, so I am looking to see if Amazon Warehouse Deals has a sale on it.
It's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, super good. Other than Vampyr, so moving on. Try to keep this as brief as I can.
I'm just buying Vampyr right now. Sorry.
Yes!
I'll do it. I'll pull the trigger.
Yes! So, I played some Sea of Thieves.
Oh, yeah. With all the big patches coming out.
Yep, and I believe it was the end of the Skeleton Invasion, or the Skeleton Cruise event. And my wife happened to be playing it with one of our other friends, so she was like, do you want to jump in? I was like, yeah, sure. Let's go hunt down some skeletons.
Yeah.
So you end up basically, you can form alliances now, so you can all work together, like you can form an alliance, put an alliance flag up, and then you become allied with all these other ships on your server, so you can actually go and fight this skeleton army. And
okay.
Really interesting, like a bunch of the mechanics they've done. Someone also released a song that they recorded using the megaphone in Pirate Sea of Thieves. So yeah, that happened.
Great.
And the pirate event was really cool. Like, you have to fight waves of skeleton ships until the captain's ship appears, and they all look different. My personal favorite thing is when they spawn, they just come straight up out of the water and then land, and they're firing cannons at you.
Oh, like their ship just comes straight out of the water? It's pretty cool.
It's really cool. It looks incredible. I've seen some amazing footage of the Meg having been there at the same time as the pirate ships.
Oh wow!
It's ridiculous. But so they keep adding more to that game, and you know what? Good on them. They could have just flopped it out the door and said, "There you go, do what you want."
It's on Game Pass, so what do we need to do?
Well, they seem to be doing a pretty good job of consistently adding more. I see so many tweets from them in regards to updates and patches and information and stuff like that. So it seems like they're in this for the long haul, and good for them if they are, especially considering it's essentially now free to play with it being on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, Sea of Thieves, if you're interested, I'm sure you can find people to play with. If not, use the one night stand function on Xbox because it's really useful.
Right.
I've played a couple of rounds of PUBG. Because the game is coming out of early access. I believe it's next week is its official start day.
Oh, okay.
So it comes out of early access, which means that I played a couple of rounds, had a bit of fun, died like a complete and utter idiot by driving a car, therefore killing myself, my wife, and Kat, our friend. Because why not?
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm not going to play that again until it comes out, because early access games don't have them sweet chivos. I don't play Astroneer. Right. I don't play PUBG. I don't play most of these games because, as much as I'm interested in them, I will wait for the full game to come out so I can actually make progress towards stuff at the same time as having fun. Because it happened with PUBG. I got burnt out on it. I was playing it every day, every 2 days for a good 4 or 5 months. I was like, I think I'm pretty much done. Because I'm putting so many hours into this, I'm not playing anything else, and I just got burnt out on it. So I took a nice big long healthy break. I popped back in yesterday, saw how things were going. They seem to be going great. Updates are good. For the record, everyone, I'm playing on the Xbox version as well, if that wasn't clear. They seem to be going well. They've got the new maps in. They've got a whole bunch of patches and bug fixes. The game runs a lot smoother. It runs a lot cleaner, a lot crisper.
Good.
So they are making good big steps towards that. But now I'll wait. Now I'll wait until the full game comes out, and then I can play it at the same time as any of them sweet chivos, because I love my chivos.
Yeah.
And speaking of achievements, so do you remember how when they first started talking about 4K and digital stuff and bandwidth caps and what's the size implications going to be like for downloading games?
Right.
And then how is 500 gig, is 1 terabyte enough space on a console for games?
Right, how much bigger are 4K assets?
Yes. The answer is no. 1 terabyte is not enough space. The answer is no. 5 terabytes is not enough space.
I wonder what game you're talking about from this week that got a patch.
Destiny 2 has a 68 gig patch.
Yeah, yes. If you were a little bit behind, yeah, Destiny has a very large patch.
Master Chief Collection has a 76 gig patch.
Yep.
Would you like to know how many gigs of space I have on my Xbox with my 4 terabyte hard drive plugged in?
I'm gonna say probably less than 250 gigs left.
53 gigs left. So I need to get some of these games off my console as soon as humanly possible.
Get some spring cleaning.
So I played a little FIFA 15. I have 2 achievements left in this game because I want to uninstall it. And to be honest, I'm getting fed up with it, and I'm not going to go back too much. I don't have the time I used to. I work more hours now than I have in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not a case of where I used to work long hours. I was living at home by myself, so that's all I did. Now is different. So I'm probably just going to end up saying, okay, here's my cutoff point. If I haven't got all the achievements by this point, I'm just going to uninstall it. I'm never going to get the multiplayer achievements in Far Cry 3. I know I'm not.
No.
I could very easily probably put up a post on True Achievements and ask, basically ask for help for getting these things done. I did it for Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous has multiplayer achievements. I got a whole bunch of them. Not all of them, but a whole bunch of them just by putting together basically a boosting group on True Achievements, so I could mess around with the mode and also get those sweet Chivos. I might be done with FIFA 15 because when you've played your most recent FIFA is FIFA 17, which is 2 years after that.
Right.
It's very difficult to go back to those games, so I'm probably going to start uninstalling a whole bunch of games from my console. FIFA 15, Far Cry 3. I'm pretty much done at this point.
Right.
So,
you only want to keep like the current model year.
Yeah, and to be honest, I just don't have the time anymore. I don't have the time to play what I want to play, let alone to be the achievement hunter I'd like to be. Like it mentally bothers me the fact that I have 2 achievements left in this game. There are single player achievements that I can get, but it bothers me the fact that I don't have them. Far Cry 3 doesn't bother me so much because it's multiplayer, and it's very hard for me to get a schedule down for when I can actually play multiplayer games with people.
Right.
So that I can view as a wash. It's the single player stuff that bothers me in a weird.
Because you just need to go do it. Like there's nothing preventing you like multiplayer where it's like no one's playing Far Cry 3 multiplayer anymore. Sorry.
Downside with FIFA 15, the 2 I have left is they are very, very, very luck based. So, yay, exactly. So I don't know. I'm rethinking my whole life at this moment in time.
Like we're boiling down to an existential crisis.
Basically, that's exactly what it is. Because, like I said, Far Cry doesn't bother me. I ain't never touching. I'm never getting those multiplayer achievements, and that is fine.
Yeah.
This is a case of how many hours do I spend trying to get these 2 achievements, just for the satisfaction in my brain of having those bars completed.
I feel like this is like you're a character in Monster Hunter where it's like, am I an S rank hunter or am I happy being an A rank hunter? Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's not good enough because I can't help it. I need that bar full.
Yep.
Especially if literally the only obstacle between me and that bar being full is me. That's the part that bothers me.
It's like a Nike ad.
Yeah, just do it. I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Right.
So we will see if FIFA 15 gets that old tweet of Vampyr has completed this game kind of thing, or if it just gets deleted from my hard drive. So, my last game this week, and my new game this week, fresh onto Xbox Game Pass with its multiplayer update, is Humans Fall Flat.
Yes,
the internet's darling recently, I believe it can be referred to as.
I remember watching Human Fall Flat when Vinny was playing on Giant Bomb like a year ago or so, and I think it was early access on Steam. And even that, at that point, I was like, alright, this is... If enough people can play this, this could be something special.
Yeah, so I remember seeing it about a year ago again too, with the Rooster Teeth crew all playing around with it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the video fully because at the time I was doing something else, but I remember seeing it that long ago. For those who don't know what this is essentially a physics-based platformer, similar to the way Gang Beasts is a physics-based
it's like
brawler.
That ragdoll physics thing.
Yeah, it's basically the invert opposite of Portal, where Portal is a physics-based platformer that's very, very precise, very direct. You know exactly what you need to do and how to execute it. This is more a case of swing the thing around until it does what it's meant to do, and then you're good. And
you're basically controlling somebody who's made out of marshmallow.
Yes. And it's really fun because the update the update dropped with the multiplayer on it. And promptly, myself, my wife, Brain Eater, and T-Bone Rocks from the community all jumped into a game together and promptly messed each other's stuff up.
Working as intended.
Yes. It's hilarious because when it starts you, it kind of starts you in a line. But because the levels are really compact, usually in the spawn zones, my wife was always dropped off in like the next room that we were supposed to get to.
Like quarantined.
Like, it was really weird. Like, we were all in prison and she was free to run around. It was kind of weird. So basically it becomes an anarchy game where you have to get to the exit of the level, but let's see how we get there. And and how many times we mess things up or mess each other up doing so.
Right.
Like, there's something kind of ironic about smashing a bulldozer, not a bulldozer, but like a big builder's bucket, or like on a crane, smashing that into people while you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
And it's all physics-based, so you end up with stuff. It's so stupid because you can accidentally get yourself into bad situations. There is a level where at the end of the level, you basically have to pull this plank out, and it drops this, essentially, like a trapeze swing, that you can jump on the trapeze swing and swing your way through to the exit of the level. I didn't realize you should pull the plank out, so I pushed the plank in.
Okay.
And then it ended up with this situation where the plank was like jammed, basically facing straight vertically down between this bar of the trapeze and the platform that I was stood on. It took me a good 10 minutes while people were playing with boxes to get this thing to come out of the hole. But then I very promptly replaced the plank with myself.
Okay.
So then I was stuck in this gap, and the trapeze wouldn't come down, so nobody could exit the level because I was jammed where the plank used to be jammed. And then it just become this 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 minute, like, think of how do we free Moon?
Right.
Like, how do we get him out of this pickle he's in so that we can actually exit the level?
We now have another goal.
Yes. It's really, really stupidly fun, and it's very much a case of there's usually multiple ways. Like, the starting levels seem to be very simple of do an A, get to B, find the exit, and leave.
Right.
Really, really simple. The later levels, like the level we ended on, is a castle level where you've basically got to storm a castle, and you can get in via a number of means. My wife and I took a diverted route. One of I think it was Rob, shot himself further into the level using a catapult, and Justin was busy trying to break down like a lock, and then it just become this whole cluster thing. And I then promptly turned the catapult around, and I went backwards in the level to try and basically use a zip line to jump all the way down to basically skip a whole sections of the level. And whoever finds the exit first just exits the level for everybody, so it's kind of handy to have multiple people going different ways.
Yeah.
But it just becomes, it's just one of those things where it's the couch co-op thing, or except it's online, where you're just having fun, having like the physics-based nightmares that can happen. Like, you've seen it in games before when physics goes slightly wrong and it produces hilarious results. It's like that, except the physics are working as intended.
Right. It's all supposed to be a little chaotic.
Yes. When you jump on a wrecking ball and start singing Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball.
Right, as one
working
should.
as intended.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Humans Fall Flat is really fun. Like, really fun. And it's up to 8 people co-op.
Oh
8.
My god, that's so many.
Yeah.
That might be too many.
We need 4 more people
to
play Humans Fall Flat with us, so we can get real weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Humans Fall Flat is fun. And that's pretty much all I've been playing. Busy weeks.
Boy, I played a lot of stuff this week. So Donut County just came out.
Is that download only?
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Limited Run Games would come out with a physical. But yeah, it's on PS4, PC, and iOS.
I believe so, yes.
So Donut County is really crazy in a way that I really love. You play as a raccoon whose name is BK, and he works at a donut shop. And when people use their app to ask for a donut to be delivered to them, he uses a raccoon-specific app to open up a hole near where they are and just swallow everything up. And it's surprising because it is the game that most feels like the first two Katamari games.
Oh, don't say that.
Anything else I have played, I think, since those two games. It has that same feeling of, you know, you start the level and you're controlling just a really tiny hole, and you're stuffing rocks and little blades of grass in there.
Yeah.
And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as you play the level, and you're swallowing up, you know, bushes and houses and mountain sides and all that stuff. I think I really, really, really like Donut County. I think the music is fantastic. I think the writing is really great. There's a bunch of stuff where you're texting with other people. And there's only two buttons. One is reply and then just a duck emoji. And when you push that, it just goes quack. And you just quack at each other for really no reason.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you play like a level or two, and then the story skips ahead, and it's basically you and everybody that lives in the town is trapped 999 feet under Donut County, and you're recounting how BK screwed up and swallowed up the entire town. And there's a lot more story in there than I would have thought, and it's all really fun. I think my only criticism of the game, it's going to sound bad, but I think long-term it isn't. It's pretty short. You can easily beat it in under 2 hours.
Oh, wow. How much does it run?
iOS is $5, which is a pretty good price. I think I spent $10 on PS4. I want it. I don't think it's $15.
I would use my phone, but I don't have the PS4 Store app installed. I only have the Account Manager app installed.
Right. Yeah, so on Steam they have it for like $13. It's tough because I feel like that's not a terrible price, because
no,
I'm going to keep Donut County installed, and it's a really great game where it's like, alright, I just want to play something kind of dumb and fun, and as soon as you beat it, you get a level select. So
yeah.
You can just play whichever levels you want at that point.
I did also notice on Twitter a lot that this thing has a similar approach to the item descriptions that Far Cry 5 does.
Yeah, it's the Trashopedia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really great because it took me a little bit to realize that BK is writing it. So it's all of these items from the perspective of a raccoon. It's really good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the thing that bums me out a little bit about Donut County is, it's a positive and a negative. It doesn't do much else beyond you're controlling a hole and you need to swallow everything up in a level. There is like a boss battle at the end that's a little bit different, but it doesn't really do stuff much different, which is a negative, but I kind of like that it's just that. You know, like just how Katamari was the ball and you're just getting bigger over these levels. It wasn't anything, you know, Katamari started to lose its focus when it's like, all right, only roll up, you know, cold stuff in this level. If you, roll up a fire, it's gonna pull back some of your progress. Like, I just want to roll up everything.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of Katamari, is to literally get everything you can get.
Yeah, and I think Donut County understands that instinctively, and you know, it's a shorter experience, and there isn't a lot more to it other than just, you know, dropping stuff into this hole. But that's okay. You know, it's not. Yeah. It's not a hyper insane roguelike hole swallowing game. It's not this thing. It's just like, yeah, man, you control the hole, and it's a lot of fun to swallow stuff up. Like, that's all it is, and it's refreshing that that's all it needs to be.
Yeah, it's like we still need those kinds of games, despite how much we get the AAA and the super serious and even indie games seem to have taken like the we're going to have a story and we're going to have 100% of seriousness in everything these days. It's good to get these games where it's just dumb fun.
Yeah. Joe J in YouTube chat says, looks like an easy platinum. Yes, it's a very easy platinum. If you're so inclined to get platinum, I'll probably do it later. But there's a lot on my plate right now. But Donut County is I really like it. I have heard it controls pretty well on iOS, and $5 is kind of the right price for an iOS game. So that's probably where I would recommend it. I'm really hoping it comes to Switch and Xbox One at some point, because the more people that get to play this, the better. Destiny 2, a couple of new things this week. Forsaken comes out on Tuesday, so I'm really not playing it that much because Solstice of Heroes was a real grind. Oh, I gotta time somebody out here and spend like 2 minutes here, and then you're just gonna act a fool. You got 45 minutes because that sounds about good. Solstice of Heroes was a grind, so I'm sort of taking a breather before I get into the seemingly incredible stuff, amount of stuff that's in Forsaken. But the big, as Moonbeer said, the big version 2.0 patch landed. It was only 35 gigs for me because I'm a little more caught up on patch-wise. But boy, they weren't kidding. Literally everything in this game changed.
Wow.
The only thing that hasn't changed is the same enemies you fight, and nothing on the planet changed. But every single other thing did. I think the biggest thing is probably the new weapon system. For anybody that hasn't played Destiny, it was basically you had 3 slots for weapons: primary, secondary, and heavy. In this one, it's kinetic, energy, and heavy, but it's the same thing. It's basically white, green, and then purple. What they did is they've uncoupled weapons from their slot. So
hold on, I'm gonna guess then, just based on that description. So if I've got an assault rifle that I really, really like,
yep,
I can put that in the secondary in the green slot, and it becomes an energy weapon.
No, but sort of. So there are weapons that are only going to go in the heavy slot now, like
rocket launchers.
Yeah, rocket launchers and linear fusion rifles are the ones that have to stay in that slot. But before, that was like shotguns and fusion rifles and snipers went in the heavy slot. But now, like for example, I picked up a sniper the other day when I was just screwing out on Mars. It goes in my primary slot.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, so like at this point, you know, the big joke is if you want to run 3 shotguns at this point, you can, because you have a shotgun in every slot that's available to go in there.
Good luck balancing multiplayer.
It's so far, PvP hasn't been that bad because you have so many more options in each slot now. They did a great job. A bunch of weapons got moved around in slots to sort of accommodate for that. But man, does it feel way, way, way different, because you can run again like you did in Destiny 1. You can run, you know, whatever you want in the primary slot, a sniper rifle, and then a rocket launcher. And that feels really great, because before I felt like they had the wrong weapons in the wrong slots.
Yeah.
So you were always choosing between a sniper rifle or a rocket launcher. A rocket launcher was gonna kind of always win because it's a little more versatile in both PvE and PvP. But thankfully they buffed nearly every weapon, non-precision and precision damage. All these weapons have moved around, and you're a lot more free to use different things in different slots. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around, because they not only did that, they changed how ammo works at the same time. So you can actually have 2 weapons equipped, like in your primary and secondary slots, that both use white ammo bricks.
Ah.
So that's interesting because when you pick up one of those, it splits ammo between the two. Or you can go back to the old system where it's white, green, and purple.
Interesting.
So that's gonna... That's part of the reason why I haven't been playing that much lately. Is I sort of get my head around the system, and I cleaned up all my inventory, and I've got my character, my primary character set for Forsaken. But I don't really want to burn myself out in this. This is this sort of quagmire week where half the game is kind of broken because they're replacing a bunch of systems with new stuff on Tuesday. So it's not been really super worth playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
But they did, yesterday on Saturday, they did have a 24-hour trial for Gambit, the new, they call it PvEVP. I call it Cooperative Competitive, because I think that makes more sense. And also it's easier to say. This is really interesting because there are 2 teams of 4. I'm just going to overview it real quick. 2 teams of 4 that are on their own maps, and when you kill enemies, they drop these motes. You scoop all those up, and when you get enough, or whenever you're ready, you bank them in this thing in the middle. It reminds me a lot of that stuff reminds me a lot of Titanfall 2. It's like you scooped up all this money and you toss it in the bank.
Yeah.
When you get a set number of motes that you bank, 5, 10, and 15 are the ones, you send blockers, so you send enemies to the other team's map, and it shuts down their bank until they kill that blocker, then the bank comes up. And then I think it's when you bank, as a team, when you bank 25 motes, a portal opens up and you can invade the other player's map. And if you kill another player, their motes drop forever. So you just increase the amount of work that they have to do. When you get to 75 motes, you spawn your boss, you kill it, you win. It's really good. Like watching their gameplay stuff before this trial, I was already really interested in it because I like the idea of, like I said in Discord, giving me cooperative competitive stuff is a really easy sell for me. That's the stuff I really like. Like, I like working with my team to work against another team, and having that little icing on the cake of doing the PvP invasion stuff is just a little bit better and like a little bit of a screw you to the other team. But I like that race against the other team to kind of, and then you have that Tetris thing where you're doing well enough on your side, so you're sending, you know, in Tetris it's like sending a bunch of screw you pieces to the other side.
Yeah.
I really liked it, and there were some things that needed a little bit of work on this trial, and they say it's actually going to be fixed on Tuesday with the day 1 patch. So that's great, and they have a whole ranking system associated with it, and a whole bunch of gear that's exclusive to it. So I'm going to be playing a whole bunch of it.
just Boston continues with his Destiny love.
Yeah. And one last thing about Destiny: if you're a PlayStation Plus member, Destiny 2, the base game, is free this month. So you can just download it on your PS4, and as long as you're a PS Plus member, you can keep it. It doesn't have any of the DLC, but that stuff is on sale. First 2 DLC packs are half off, I think, for this week. So if you wanted to try Destiny 2, whether you like Destiny or you're maybe a little bit on the fence with Destiny 2, you sort of can't go wrong for free and kind of spend, like, at most 10 hours, you know, blowing through that story and probably doing some strikes and stuff. You know, if you don't like it, you don't really spend any money on it. And if you're a Destiny 2 player that has a disc, pro tip, you can also use this to get a free download copy, so you don't have to keep your disc in the PS4.
So it's a button press away. Welcome to the digital future.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yes, it is.
Dead Cells.
Yep.
I could not get a run together to save my life this week.
I'm not gonna lie, I took a little break from it because I got the frame skip straight to my death. So I stepped back for a little bit. I'm taking a little bit of a break, mostly because I happened to be on a run where the build was perfectly suited to my playstyle, and I had 2 primary golden drops and 1 trap golden drop. So I was way in for a really good run, and then things went wrong. So I thought, no, I think I will back away. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in Motion Twin, are the developers. I'm a little disappointed in them that they're not. I can't find anywhere that they're talking about the frame skip stuff. And then I was finding someone hit me up on Twitter because I was complaining about the screen shake again, because it just it makes me so dizzy when I have a run that like there's the Hayabusa boots, which I think are really fun.
Yeah.
But the 3rd and 4th kick on those shakes the screen.
AoE.
Yeah, because it's doing an AoE. So a run with those items and kicking down doors, there's something about it that makes me really dizzy, which stops me from playing the game, which is not a thing I want to do. Same with the frame skip. Like, I have the frame skip showing up pretty frequently, but I've been lucky that it really hasn't been showing up on anywhere where I'm in like a life or death situation.
Yeah.
But the developer doesn't seem to be talking about either of those things. So I don't.
It's
I don't
one.
know.
Is it one guy again?
No, I think it's a handful of people because they had that news story a couple weeks ago where everyone in the studio gets paid the same thing, the same amount of money, which, number one, super cool.
Yeah.
But I get the impression it's not 1 or 2 people, but I think maybe it's around 10.
Yeah.
So, and I know they're focusing on the performance, these slight performance issues that the Switch version has, which is fair, but it would be nice if someone would say, like, hey, we're not going to work on the screen shake thing because that's what we want for the game, or, you know, we're working on the frame skip thing, or something other than crickets, basically.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because it feels an awful lot like the Binding of Isaac stuff on consoles, where it's like, oh,
hi, Nicholas.
We put that out on. Oh yeah, did we do that? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, come on. Like I spent money on your game. I am also a customer. I'm not going to be a super jerk about it, but it would be greatly appreciated if there was some level of communication.
Especially considering that a new DLC just got announced.
Yeah, we have that in news stories, but yeah. So for both companies, it would be appreciated if there was some level of, even if it's just like a middle finger gif on Twitter. It'd be like, okay, well now I know where I stand. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. Next, Hollow Knight.
Okay, tell me about Hollow Knight. Have you hit the burnout phase yet, or are you still in the I love this game phase? I'm
in both phases.
Okay.
So I just hit 20 hours, and I'm maybe 75% of the way through the base game. This game is enormously, gigantically big, and I feel the same way about this. Like I've sort of had trouble with Donut County. Hollow Knight is really great because it's really big, and I'm also sort of a little sick of traversing the same pathways because it's really big.
Yeah.
I think overall Hollow Knight's size will be to its benefit, and I think that's one of the feathers in its cap. But there are some times where I want to go to a vendor to go spend something because I have a bunch of currency. And it's sort of like, okay, well the map changed, so now I need to go to this place and I need to go like up and around to sort of get to this person. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of a little sick of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not that big. I just don't get a ton of time at one time to play Hollow Knight. I don't get to like, I think the real sweet spot would be I'm going to sit down for like 2 or 3 hours at once. I'm going to get into the groove, and I'm going to, fill in the spots on the map that I haven't been to before and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really... I'll be lucky if I get about a half an hour at one sitting where I can do something. But on the other side of the coin, like, I ran into a new area. It's called Kingdom's Edge, and there were a couple of enemies floating off on the side of the map, or the side of the screen I was on. And one of the earliest, it's not a spoiler, one of the earliest moves you get is like this fireball thing you shoot out of yourself. So I thought, alright, well, I'm just going to fireball these guys, this is going to be cool. And I opened up a secret passageway in the wall, and when I went in there, there's a whole giant new area that's sealed behind this breakable wall that you may or may not have ever found before. It's like, okay, Hollow Knight. Now I have a whole nother place to explore. Alright. I do have to say, I sort of overcame 2 milestones on the way to... I think I'm approaching the end of the base game. At some point, you find... It's like this monument. The storytelling in Hollow Knight reminds me of some of the stuff they do in Dead Cells, where you're sort of getting bits and pieces of lore, and like, obviously things went really poorly, but you don't know who you are, and you don't know how everything else went, and I kind of dig that. And you stumble upon this monument, and when you read the plaque on it, 3 things sort of scatter across the map. I've broken 2 of the things out of the 3. And I did 2 infamous things. One is, there was that boss fight that I was talking about last week where you fight 6 bosses in a row.
Yep.
Finally took care of that. That was really me getting some health upgrades and some skill improvements, and then just sort of having a really good day where I was playing pretty well. And then I completed Deep Nest, which is a nightmare zone. Like, it's one of these things that you're supposed to stumble on it, and then you kind of get trapped there for a while.
Oh, great! So it's
really rough. Like
it's Blighttown, Hollow Knight's Blighttown.
Yes, it's very much Hollow Knight's Blighttown, and it's creepy. There's no music. You hear like insects skittering all over the place. One of
my favorite sound in video games ever.
Yeah, it's not good. One of my biggest suggestions for Hollow Knight, for anybody that's thinking about playing it, is, if at all possible, play it with headphones. Because there's so much stuff in the environment that, you might hear there are these little grubs you can rescue, and they might be behind breakable walls, or they might be like way up above where you are, but you may not think of looking for a pathway up there. But you're always sort of hearing this me off in the background. You're like, ooh, there's one here. Oh, I gotta get that guy.
Yeah, I can't remember what game I played recently, but there was something I played within the past year that did that extremely well, where there'd be secrets up through a hidden ceiling or something, but you could hear like the thing behind the walls.
Yeah, and they do that with enemies sometimes too, where it's like sometimes you can just, it'll look like there's some like rock formation at the edge of the screen. But you can hear an enemy, and you're like, well, I cleared them all out. And you can actually walk through, because that's just in the foreground. You can actually walk through that and off to a secret area off on the side. I feel like I have finally come to terms with why people call this sort of a Dead Souls Metroidvania game, and it's Dark Souls, sorry. And it's not so much the mechanics, because it plays so much differently from one of the Souls games.
Yeah.
But it's that slowly climbing up the mountain thing, where you're fighting...
An inch of progress is great.
Yeah, and like you're fighting a boss and you're going to lose to it maybe 5-10 times, or in the case of that one boss fight, 15 or 20 times. But you're learning a little bit more each and every time you're fighting it, and you're making it a little bit further. Like, all right, I beat 2 of those 6 bosses this time. All right, I'm going to try again. Okay, I beat 3 of them this time, and next time is 5, and then you finally beat it, and it feels so good. Until you go to the next area, and then there's another nightmare of a boss.
Yep, that's very much the Dark Souls, Demon Souls approach.
Yep, and I think Hollow Knight, to me, even without finishing it, and as far as I know, I'm not really touching any of the DLC stuff yet.
Mm-hmm.
So far, Hollow Knight from me gets an absolute recommendation. I think for $15, it's an incredibly huge game. It plays perfectly. Like I feel like you and I have been playing a bunch of games lately, sort of by accident, between Celeste and Dead Cells and Hollow Knight, and a bunch of stuff that just, they control perfectly and they feel right. And Hollow Knight, like the first time you figure out you can sort of bounce on enemies and do damage to them by doing a downward slash, you get that rhythm down, like it just, having that revelation and then being able to do it and control it correctly just feels great.
Yeah.
My only hesitation, though, is I'm not entirely sure how deep I want to go into this. I definitely want to finish it because I want to talk about it somewhere in my top 10 list this year.
Yeah.
But with it coming out on PS4 and Xbox One spring of next year, I feel like I want to go super deep into it there, because I know a lot of the stuff I have in the end game I've seen a little bit of it, are either very combat heavy, where you're going to need to play really well through waves and waves of enemies and bosses.
Yeah.
And there's a whole area that is specifically a super hardcore platforming area. And I saw someone talk about it this morning. They likened it to Celeste, actually, saying like, look, if you played Celeste and you liked that challenge, go do this optional thing. It's pretty much the same.
So you're thinking maybe do main story for this year's Game of the Year and do the deep dive for next year's stuff?
Yeah, because I feel like if I want to go through all that stuff, I feel like I want the controller that I prefer, not the Joy-Cons, because they've suited me pretty well so far. But every time I play it with the Pro controller, I'm like, oh, right, gotcha, D-pad.
That's why.
Yeah, this is the good stuff, because to me it's a 2D game, so I'm playing it with the D-pad. I know a lot of people will play games like this with the stick, but for some reason I can't with like 2D platforming or Metroidvania games. It just doesn't feel... It doesn't feel precise enough. And I know that probably isn't true, because it's probably just as precise with the stick.
So Dead Cells, are you stick or D-pad?
D-pad, 100%.
Okay, I'm stick, but again, it's the whole, I play Dead Cells on the Xbox, and I can't do that, otherwise it hurts, so I have to do that.
Yeah, you do the asymmetric, yeah. Yeah, so I think, to me, Hollow Knight still feels like one of the best Metroidvanias, with the big asterisk of I'm not finished with it yet.
Yeah.
Combined with an incredible difficulty, but I have never felt like it's insurmountable. I never feel like it's unfair, and I feel like that's the best stuff that the Souls games do. I was just going to say, that's what Souls does best and better than most games, is it doesn't feel like it's screw you. Yep. It's you screwed up. Yes. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, I feel like that in Hollow Knight. there are a couple times, you know, like when you're fighting a bunch of like especially with that 6 boss battle, you're fighting 2 bosses in a row, and they have like only 2 or 3 moves apiece. But sometimes you sort of get pushed in from both sides, and then they're swiping at you both from both sides, and it's like, all right, I don't see how I could have performed better than that. I just kind of got trapped in a corner. But 9 times out of 10, it's sort of like, all right, I was being dumb. I got greedy. I should have hung back and healed a little bit. I can be better than that, and I'm going to do better this next time I play.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, if you love Metroidvanias, I can recommend this, but you have to know the difficulty level going in, and you have to be okay with it. Because I'm playing on normal, I don't remember if there's an easy, but I know there is a harder difficulty.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of achievements, even in the Switch version, for like, finish the game in under 20 hours. Finish the game in under 5 hours. It's like, I know I won't get the platinum on the PS4 version, because I could not imagine finishing this game in less than 5 hours.
Yeah, it's the whole what was it? The Unreal game, the Unreal Metroidvania, Shadow Complex.
Yeah, Shadow Complex. It was like 3 hours. I can't. Whoops, I did it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think the thing for me is, imagine Shadow Complex's map, and then make that 10 times bigger.
True, but I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Speedrunners will find us a way.
Oh yeah, like once I'm done with it, I really want to look up some of that stuff to see, like, you know, what's the recommendations for doing this, because you can probably skip a whole bunch of areas completely.
Yeah.
And I would really love to watch a speed run of this, because I feel like someone's like, yeah, I went pretty slow and I beat it in 45 minutes, that sort of thing. So, but still, Hollow Knight is, I'm staying on it because I feel like it's one of those games, like one of the Souls games. If you take a week or 2 off, you sort of forget how to ride that bike.
Yep.
Yeah. So I sort of want to get into it, do as much as I can, finish it, and if it dumps me back in the world, I'll probably explore some of the DLC stuff, but I kind of have other Switch games to move on to, like Yoku's Island Express and Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, like, and the next game I'm talking about, like, there's so much other stuff for me to play that I'd sort of rather to pick it up again on PS4.
Yeah.
And last but not least this week, Nintendo, they finally figured out how to sell indie games on the Switch. They finally are saying, this game is coming to Switch, and it's out right now. And I go, where's my Switch? I gotta go buy this thing. Like today, like this week, Into the Breach came out on Switch.
Yep, I saw.
And I thought, well, I never got into it on PC because I don't have a great... My PC is up here in the office / podcast recording studio / E1M1 Studios headquarters. It's not really great. I want to spend time with my family instead of being, you know, quarantined off up here. And every time I bring out my laptop, my kid wants to smush her face into the keyboard for some reason. She's 2.
She's a child.
Yeah,
That's
like,
why. Come on.
She's 2. It probably feels fun. And
oh yeah,
Dad says no, don't do it, so she's got to do it.
When I was a kid, I was all about smashing on keyboards, even if they were plugged in or turned on or attached to anything. I was just all about the clackety key noise.
I've got to find a fake keyboard around here somewhere. Maybe that keyboard that just broke, I'll just give that to her.
There you go.
Yeah,
like the cat keyboard. I used to have a cat keyboard as well.
Yeah, like a decoy keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, well, the Switch is sort of a perfect place to play this because it's a really great pick up and put down sort of thing, because each level is so short that even if I only play a level or 2, that's great. I'm still making some progress. And man, it's really good on Switch. Like,
is it?
I think so. The thing that surprised me is there's no touchscreen support.
That I was not expecting to hear.
I was really surprised about that. But I think why is because they got the controller support down perfectly. The thing that I didn't realize about games and I feel like Dead Cells did this really well too, is after just a little bit of time with the game, you kind of forget the buttons.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of playing the game. You know, Dead Cells is like, oh, well, yeah, my left-hand weapon is on L2, and my right-hand, you know, my left-hand tool and my right-hand tool are on L2 and R2. Yeah, that just makes sense. Like, I know how to play the game now. For Into the Breach, it was maybe 2 or 3 maps, and I sort of forgot that I was using a controller for it.
That's the best.
And it just, like, once I figured it out a couple hours later, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just playing Into the Breach with a controller. This is, and they do smart stuff like there's a very small amount of snap for your cursor on the grid. So like if you're not exactly on the grid, it just sort of like moves your cursor over just like a couple of pixels so you're in the right spot. And it all feels really perfect. And that was the thing I was really worried about. Having played it on keyboard and mouse, was playing that game with a mouse feels really good. You're just...
Yeah.
It controls well with the mouse because it's a grid-based game. I really, really like it on a controller, and they're actually saying that sometime this month they're patching in controller support on the Steam version. Good. Or PC versions. And it feels sort of silly because I want to talk a lot about Into the Breach, but it's kind of a known quantity at this point. Like, Subset Games makes really great games. Yep. Into the Breach is really good. And you kind of know that because people have been playing it for like a year already.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it runs really well on Switch. It has all the stuff from the base game. It controls really well with controls, and I don't feel punished by the game by playing it on easy. And that feels really great because I played a couple of games on normal, and a lot like FTL, I was sort of not making it far enough to learn any lessons.
Yeah.
I wasn't making it to the end of the first island. It's like, well, this is frustrating because I'm not even learning how to play the game. I'm just scraping by. But putting it on easy, it's like, oh, okay, now I have to defend the buildings instead of my units. My units can take a little bit of damage, but the buildings can't really. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm picking up all this. What I'm sure people are listening to is like, yeah, of course, Boston. Like, of course you protect the buildings. It's like, yeah, but I never really played Into the Breach until now, and I'm happy that they're finding success on Switch. It sounds like it's doing gangbusters.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy it controls well on a controller, because it's like when we first started playing Diablo 3, and it's like, ah, crap, this works. Okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
Those geniuses, they figured out a way to do it, and they did, and kudos to them. So this gives me hope that it'll maybe eventually come out on PS4 and Xbox One at some point. Hopefully
it does, and then hopefully I mean, Switch, I think, to be honest, let's face it, Switch is the perfect place for that thing, because then you can play it on the go, short spaces, really good, whatever.
Indies are selling like crazy on Switch right now, too.
Yeah, especially if they're promoted well. But, no, I mean, if it comes to the other consoles, good for them, but I mean, it made a big splash when it came out, and then everybody stopped talking about it. It's making another big splash again.
Yep.
So we'll see how it does if it comes out to the consoles as well, but if it's doing well for them, good for them. They deserve it.
It's like 2 people make that game, so like...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was a Kickstarter project. FTL was, wasn't it?
FTL was. I don't remember if Into the Breach was.
I don't think Into the Breach was.
I feel like that one wasn't. Yeah.
But it's another studio that's started from the back of a successful Kickstarter. So
yep. Yeah, and they've managed to put out not only the Kickstarter game, but now a second one, and both of them are incredibly good. So... one of the few success stories. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
Let's be right back, Patrick.
Okay. Hello, everyone in chat.
Why is it so hot?
Let's do our usual news stories roundup here before we before we get into the second segment, we're making really good time. I have to stop at 3:30 my time, so in an hour, and I think we'll have plenty enough time here. Yeah, I guess Sunless Sea is coming out on PS4. That's pretty exciting. When does that come out? Oh, it's available now. Pfft. How much is it? Let's look. $19. Oh, it just came out this week. Oh, okay. Whew. Add to wish list. Jeez. Boy. I need more caffeine today. Dimebag says, is Knobs playing Dead Cells? No idea. He removed me from all of his friends lists. Ooblets isn't out yet. Biomutant, I don't know what that is. Oh, Resident Evil 2 Remake, that looks really good. Oh man, that Spelunky 2 trailer from PAX. Oh, that's the good stuff. It makes me regret that I never got into Spelunky that much. But I guess I was sort of getting into Isaac. Oh my goodness, excuse me. New mod allows you to play as Magneto in Grand Theft Auto 5. That looks incredible. Man, these modders are so good. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Original Valkyria Chronicles coming to Switch. That'll be really good. Moonpier's back. Art of Super Mario. Not a lot of news stories. Let's check Reset Era.
Come on.
Ah, the Queen has arrived.
Yes.
Ta-da! Fully in frame this week.
Hey.
So now that I bought Vampyr, my Amazon gift card has been extinguished. I only had to pay $3 for that copy.
For Vampyr?
Yep. There you go, Dimebag.
So what, you bought Vampyr, did you?
Yep. Yeah, while we were talking about it. Just scooped it up. It was on sale for $40. I had a Best Buy gift card. Why not? Support them.
Yeah.
Support the top 10 episode.
Well, it was one of those things where it was like, well, it's a single-player RPG. I think we talked about this before, but I tweeted about it when it came out. I was like, if you like single-player games and you bitch about how they're going away, buy them when they come out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did.
Yeah.
And then it also helps that it's from Don't Nod, who I happen to like.
Yeah. The only bummer is I really wish I could have it digitally because, like we'll talk about in releases in a minute, Dragon Quest XI comes out this week, which I'm also picking up. It'd be nice if I could have like the 1-2 punch of Vampyr could be digital and Dragon Quest XI could be physical, and then I could sort of jump between both of them at the same time.
You should check the Amazon and see if they have a digital code.
They did, but what it looked like it was $60, and the PlayStation Store had it for $60. And it's like,
of course,
I can't like. I can justify buying a disc for $40, but not for $60.
Mm-hmm.
No, in my luck, it'll go on like a Fall is Here sale next week, and it'll be like $30 digital.
Yeah. I hate pre-ordering games, but I pre-ordered a game this week.
Which one? Spider-Man?
There you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the odd man out on Spider-Man. I'm waiting for a sale on that one, because I know it's gonna be good. Yeah,
it also helps, like, with me, like, I haven't played a Spider-Man game since probably Spider-Man 2 on the 360. I didn't play any of like the really good like comic book based ones that they came out with, like Web of Shadows or
Shattered Dimensions. Both of those were good.
I didn't play any of those, so
I think the thing for me is I don't really care about spoilers with Spider-Man. Like if I see a spoiler about here's who the final boss is, I don't think I care as much. When you watched American Werewolf in London, do you once say, hey, that can't happen there, it's always crowded? Oh.
I'm trying to remember what that's in reference to.
Like, was there a scene that happened in the movie where you're like, they can't do that, that place in London is always crowded?
Yeah, there's a couple of places. A couple, yes. Specifically near the end when he's trying to get arrested, he's in the square with the lions statues. I can't remember whose square that is. Is it George's? King Philip's? I don't bloody know. I don't think it's not. It
That's
might be.
I know.
I don't know, but he's in one of those squares, and it's like, yeah, that place is constantly packed. Especially these days, it's full of pigeons and people.
Yeah.
Like there's no way of avoiding people in that place. But London's also a lot cleaner than what it was then. Like that movie was made
in the 70s, right?
Yeah, like I think it was released filmed probably late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, okay.
When at that time London was very much like New York, where it was just run by gangsters and mobsters.
It was just dirty.
So now it's more touristy and cleaned up for everybody.
Yeah.
Why have you got to put your back to me every time? Hey.
Because I don't like you.
Hey. The camera's that direction.
She's waiting for her paycheck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, I am ready whenever you are. Dimebag says, you guys see you can make your own comic cover? Is that in Spider-Man? I saw that they announced that there was a photo mode day one, but I didn't see details about it.
Yeah, I saw the photo mode trailer. I was like, it's interesting. The only game I've felt like using it so far is God of War, because that thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I used it a bunch in Horizon Zero Dawn, because like, God, this game looks so good. Playing in 4K.
Okay, ready when you are.
Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of September 3rd, 2018. Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age comes out on PS4 and PC. I've had this pre-order for a while because it's a new JRPG.
Wait, what? You pre-ordered a JRPG?
I know, it's crazy. I have been shocked at how glowing every review for this game has been.
I'm not gonna lie, like I jumped into our Discord and I was seeing, I think it was you, Soulman, and a couple of other people talking about it. I was like, well, they're excited about it. That much I understand. Let's see what the other people have to say about it.
Yeah.
And so far, it's just been like fireworks and pops
JRPG
going off
of
everywhere.
The year.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, the only reviews I've seen where people haven't really liked it is, and God, I hate to say this, and it's gonna sound elitist, and I'm sorry, but it's
people who don't get it.
No, it's people that don't get Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest is this game that you don't sit down and play for 10 hours at a time. You maybe play for like half an hour a night, most nights of the week, and it's more like watching an episode of a show you're binging, like one every night, and it's the most comfort food RPG because between Dragon Quest 1 and 11, discounting 9 and 10, they're all the same. And normally that's a negative, and people are going to probably be like, yeah, they're exactly the same. And it just feels like getting into a warm bath where it's like, yeah, that's the stuff. And you're going to play it for probably 80 hours, and it's just going to be good fun, good blue sky fun the whole time.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that right now. I could do with that.
It's kind of needed at the moment.
Yeah, and it's such a break from the Louise.
She saw my audio tracking meter.
Oh, she's like, ooh, hello.
Moving.
I feel like I'm playing about 15 Metroidvanias right now, so
yeah,
literally anything else would feel really great.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm really, I don't know what to play at any given moment. One of the reasons why I'm achievement hunting is because I can't decide what I actually want to play. So I've been really tempted to jump down a crazy game and pick up one of the Yakuza games.
Yeah, Yakuza 0 is so good.
Yeah, but it's scary.
I feel like Yakuza 0 isn't that bad because it does a really good job of, if you pick it up after a little bit of time, you just need to hit the start button and go to the menu, and at the bottom it would be like, that's right, I'm supposed to go do this in this place. It's like, oh, right. Like, it always is. Or if you just stand still for about 10-15 seconds, he'll just be like, I really should go over this other place and go back to my office. And it's like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that, video games.
Me too.
Coming up next is Hyper Light Drifter for the Switch.
Good place for it. I hope more people buy it.
Yeah, and they're calling it a special edition. I guess they have an exclusive mode in it too. I think it's like some tower crawl mode. Sounds more like a wave-based enemy thing. And they're putting in some additional guns and armor pieces. So if you haven't played Hyper Light Drifter, go play it. We did a game club on it. The game is really good.
Yes, it genuinely is.
Yeah, and as long as it runs smoothly on Switch, just go pick it up.
Yep.
It's great. And last but certainly not least, finally coming out, Marvel's Spider-Man on the PS4.
Yep.
Game of the Year fodder alongside God of War.
I believe, I don't know why suddenly America is switching to the European release. I believe it comes out on Friday, doesn't it? Comes out on the 7th.
Oh, I thought it was coming out on... let's look. Spider-Man. It is coming out on... It is the 7th. Boy, that's weird.
Thank you, America, for getting with the logical release time of Fridays.
Play it on the weekend.
Yes, exactly.
That way you don't have to call out of work during the week. So
based on my installation time and download speed on the PlayStation, I'll be talking about this not next week, the week after.
Yeah, don't forget, people that own PS4s, your PS4 download speeds go faster if you don't have any apps open on your PS4. Any games or anything. Just close all of them. Or if you have Plus, just let it download when you're asleep.
Yep.
I just closed news. There it is. Okay. Let's move on to news stories. Let's just talk about the stupidity at the beginning. I almost want to just dump this and just not comment, but Sony has made another comment about crossplay.
I agree. It's a tempting thing to dump it.
Yeah.
We cannot dump it because things need to be said about this.
Yeah. So they're specifically talking about crossplay for Fortnite again because someone asked them again, like, yo man, when's Fortnite crossplay gonna happen? Because everyone wants it.
Yeah.
And they say what they essentially boiled it down to is the PS4 won't get Fortnite crossplay because PlayStation is the best place to play Fortnite.
No, it's not. The PC is.
I mean, anything at this point is, other than PS4, because it's not a walled garden.
Yeah, well, if they want to get 100% technical and take all the multiplayer stuff out of the equation, as always, the best place to play any video game ever is on a powerful PC.
Yep. Or with Fortnite, even a halfway powerful PC. Like, it doesn't... The great thing about that engine is it doesn't super push... it's not like PUBG had some issues with early on, where it's like, you gotta have a real beefy machine, and then it sort of still runs badly. You know, which is part of the reason behind the numerous lawsuits between Bluehole and Epic Games. This sucks. Like, I keep wanting to bring this up on the show because I feel like too often with video games, something happens one week, and then something dumb happens the next week, and we forget about everything else that happened before it. Sony, this still sucks.
Yeah, it's the current news cycle in America where
Yes.
you forget about something that happened a week ago. Hey guys, does Flint, Michigan have water yet?
Yeah, but it's real bad.
Mm-hmm. People forget about that because every week there's some new drama.
There's some new
coming
nightmare
up,
happening. Yeah.
and everybody forgets about that kind of stuff. But this, the only way I can describe this is Sony off the PlayStation 2 into the PlayStation 3.
Yep.
They are giving that attitude again.
The same high horse attitude.
Mm-hmm. It's... Everyone talks these days about how consumer rights are dying and so on and so forth. And a lot of companies are making really good strides into more consumer-friendly decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like Xbox's the cross-play stuff, the Play Anywhere program.
Yeah. Which I also we talked about Game Share earlier today, and I'm like, I forgot about Game Share, and I forgot about Play Anywhere. Like it's all these, it's all these things where it's like, of course you can play it on your Windows 10 machine, whatever.
Yeah, stuff like that is a very good consumer thing. Don't get me wrong. Eventually, digital libraries and services will shut down, and we'll be locked out of those games.
Yeah,
that's choices we make. By that time,
that's why I bought Game Pass.
This is the most anti-consumer thing I have heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Amazon being like, yo, we don't pay you enough, and you can't even afford to buy groceries.
It's so blatantly anti-consumer
that
it's just like, to me, it's either blatantly anti-consumer or blind ignorance. Like it can only be one of the two, because either they're hearing all of us wailing about please let us play Fortnite and everything else, by the way, with our friends crossplay, and they're just saying no, which, to be fair, is their prerogative because it's their platform, even though it sucks. Or they're not paying attention to it at all, and there's something failing in the messaging chain internally in Sony, and they're not hearing the wailing, which is equally as bad, if not worse.
Yeah. To be honest, the thing I see from this is it's the I don't think they're looking at the messages from users. I don't think they're hearing what we're saying. Too many people are looking at a bar chart saying, these are our sales, these are our numbers, we don't have to do anything.
Right. Yeah, it's like, it's maybe there's a social media summary at PS4 where it's like, hey, this week, our PlayStation gamers would still really like crossplay with Fortnite. And it's not like, the second message is like, we're really excited for Spider-Man. That's like 1,000 messages, and crossplay is like 2 million. Like they're never seeing the quantity. They're just like, yeah, another week. Those nerds are still asking for crossplay. Whatever. Yeah,
what they'll see is, even if they do see numbers, it will be 200,000 people are complaining about crossplay on Fortnite. Yeah. 100,000 people are really hyped about Spider-Man. Our sales number or our unit sold number is still 100 million higher than everybody else.
Right.
None of the rest of the stuff matters. That's the important number.
And then it's just me over on Twitter being like, hey, everyone, don't forget that Destiny 2 exclusives on PlayStation still suck. See you later. Yep. Which, by the way, console exclusives still suck, no matter where you are. I think the thing that's disappointing to me is, I think at the beginning of the PS4's life cycle, it felt like both Sony and Microsoft were looking long-term. They were looking at another, at least potentially 5-year-long console cycle, and Microsoft made the changes really early about some of the console DRM that people pushed back very hard on, and with stuff like Game Pass and this All Access Pass is what I think they're calling the subsidized plan now, they're very clearly setting a lot of groundwork for the console to do very well over an extended period of time. And then at some point, Sony just stopped. Because all it seems to me that they're doing is they're pushing people over onto Switch, or specifically for Fortnite, or on Xbox, or Switch, or PC, or you can have multiple people sitting and playing the same game together across those platforms. Just not PS4.
Yeah. The only thing they have right now is they have the exclusive games. That's literally the only positive about PlayStation at the moment is the exclusive games that they have, which God of War is going to be Game of the Year this year, I think, for the majority of retailers, unless Spider-Man comes out swinging. No pun intended. But unless it comes out swinging and really, literally nails a massive dinger, then it's going to be God of War is going to be this year's Game of the Year.
And Spider-Man has, we were just talking about the news cycle. Spider-Man does have the dubious honor of releasing closer to the end of the year, so that might be a good thing if it's really great, where it's like, oh yeah, God of War did come, I forgot about that.
The Resident Evil 7 problem.
Exactly, where it's like January, those games are a year old now. But yeah, Sony, this still sucks. Stop sucking. Like, I love the console, but you're being bad again.
Yeah,
stop being bad.
There is very few times on this show I wish I was allowed to swear. This is one of them.
Yep. Yeah. Well, get ready, because our next news story is the announcement of the final, probably last, sort of, actually very final Binding of Isaac piece of DLC.
Maybe.
It's called Repentance, which is a really great name for a guy that keeps not quitting Binding of Isaac.
Yep.
I wish we were still doing the Binding of Vampyr, because we could get super inside baseball with this. But for anyone that doesn't know Binding of Isaac, I think it was last year, there was, they used to call them total conversion mods. Basically, a small team of people made a mod for the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, not the Plus version, called the Binding of Isaac Antibirth. And basically, they made an entire new Binding of Isaac. All new floors, all new bosses, items, like pathways. You had to do specific stuff to build items to get to different floors. It was very detailed, and they did a really great job. Pretty soon after it came out, Afterbirth Plus came out and sort of changed the engine and how you mod stuff in Isaac. And the developers and Ed, the designer, and the modders couldn't really come together to make it work in Afterbirth Plus without the modders having to rewrite the entire thing. So for about the last year, it's been the head guy in the modding and then Ed, the designer, sort of saying like, I'd really love to do it, but it's just going to take a lot of work. Until they show up at PAX West, and Repentance is basically just Anti-Birth in Afterbirth Plus.
Yep.
So they've been trolling us all along, which sounds about right. But what's really great is they hired the guy who wrote the Anti-Birth mod, the programmer behind it, and stuck him in Binding of Isaac and said, fix the game and put Anti-Birth in it. And he did. And it will be coming out sometime next year, it sounds like, and it will be paid DLC because apparently it's really big. So,
well, he basically made a new game, so that's fine. I will give him my money in 2022 when it eventually comes out on my platform of choice.
Someone
Thank you, Nicholas.
Someone asked Ed, so the reason why I keep saying Ed the designer is because Ed designed the game, and Nicholas, the developer/publisher, did everything else. The programming, the art, the music, the publishing. That's where the problems really lie. Ed is just saying, here's the designing, he's helping, design the actual game, and then Nicholas implements it. Ed has nothing to do with porting this stuff to consoles. He seems as frustrated as we are, but
yes, he does.
That's the company that's publishing his stuff, so you sort of can't talk too much mess about it. He's been told it's about 2 months until all that stuff comes to consoles.
So it's about 2 plus 24, so about 2 years.
Yeah, so I sort of don't believe it. Not because I don't believe Ed.
I don't believe Nicholas.
I don't believe Nicholas. Exactly. So, yeah.
Unless that guy you've got who's the wizard bug fixer guy is is really that good, then I see 2 years, not 2 months.
And someone on the Binding of Isaac subreddit brought up a really great point that it's really a shame that Isaac wasn't written in something like Unity, because look at something like Dead Cells that was written in Unity, and something like Hollow Knight, I'm fairly sure is written in Unity. The Unity's porting tools have made it so much easier to bring your game, you know, certification and platform stuff aside, has made it so much easier to be able to bring your game to multiple platforms, especially at the same time.
Yeah.
That is really a shame that Isaac wasn't written in that, either because it came out a little bit before Unity really picked up big, or they just didn't want to. You know, they were bitten pretty hard by Flash. The original Isaac was written in Flash.
Yeah.
To tell you exactly how old Binding of Isaac is. And it's times like this that it's really a bummer that it wasn't written in a platform, in an engine like that.
Yeah.
That would make porting at least easier than whatever nightmare they have to go through now. So, bummer. But last news story here. A surprising announcement of Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, I deliberately have not looked at that trailer, because it's actually, I think it might be one of the questions for this week, is with that announcement, what other games from that era would you like to see ported? Literally number one on the top of my list from that era, the only thing I can think of that doesn't have a modern day equivalent is Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Like, that's number one. Like, that game was my jam. Like, that was, I will play through this game 15 times over and over and over and over and over again, because I love the game so much. Yeah,
and I think the thing that makes me really happy is Lizard Cube is the developers. They made Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap.
I haven't played it yet, so...
It's a very faithful recreation, and they... Looking at the stuff from Streets of Rage 4, I know you didn't watch the trailer, what it looks like is just a really pretty Streets of Rage game.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it keeps that exact same spirit, and probably a lot of the how the game controls and how the game plays. They just kind of made it look like a modern game.
Yeah. I am very interested in the fact that the OG composer was asked if he was doing music on this, and he was like, I would love to do some Streets of Rage music. I cannot comment on that at this time. There will be more thing going forwards, which basically says to me, yo, he's doing the music for this game.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah.
Let's move over to questions. Dimebag315 in chat says, do you ever think they'll make a Binding of Isaac 2? Yes.
No.
I don't think Ed can ever quit Isaac, and I think at some point he'll just want to make a new thing, probably in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him doing it, but I could also see him basically just keep going on the Isaac. Like,
probably. I wonder at what point the engine sort of crumbles under Isaac as a game, because it's tough on that engine.
I could see him doing a Binding of Isaac, insert a biblical name here, which is essentially everything to do with Binding of Isaac, just done in a different engine.
I've got one. Binding of Isaac Genesis.
There you go.
It's everything Binding of Isaac you love reborn into a new engine.
Into Unity, into Frostbite, into whatever.
Frostbite, everything. God, that would be so great. It would be so great if Frostbite would be used for Binding of Isaac.
Oh yeah, the most hyper-realistic engine out there, in my opinion, being used for Isaac would be fantastic.
I would love if they would just make it look exactly the same. Just like, not use the graphical prowess of Frostbite at all. Just be like, hey, it's Binding of Isaac brought to you by Frostbite. It looks exactly the same.
Yeah. So, have them...
Oh, man.
Have him do that. So, yeah, Genesis is a really good name for it. Revelations would be a really good name for it as well. Yep. Of the whole thing ported to a different engine, given the HD treatment and all that kind of stuff. I mean, not like it's not HD now, but...
I'd love if they would say now in HD, and it still looks like a 16-bit game.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh god, that would be so funny. This is why I don't make games.
Remastered would be just anything to do with it, like like marketing it as the remastered version, and it looks exactly the same.
Oh, that'd be so good. Oh man. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, do you think the reason why Microsoft has not announced an Elite 2 is because they will be adding it to the design lab? God, if only. Oh.
That would be a very smart decision for them to make. Would be basically to have the design lab in there and just click the Elite button and have it switch out parts for Elite parts. That would be genius.
You can make a controller that just looks so good.
Give me like a nice dark green Elite controller with like the dark green rubber grips and pale yellow buttons. I'll be down for that.
Yeah. When I was looking to buy a new Xbox One controller, I hit up the design lab and I made a controller I really liked.
And then you realized it was $90.
It's like $78. I was like, well, never mind. Amazon has one on sale right now. The black one for $35. So I'll be picking that one up. Oh, I got my.
I have loaded design labs up and built custom controllers for me and my wife 5 times. Never clicked the buy button.
It's so much. Like it's. I really like Design Lab because you can get the exact controller that you like. You're just gonna be paying for it, which is fair.
Yeah.
I got my PS4 translucent 500 million anniversary controller. Man, that thing looks good. it's so, and also for both controllers, it's really nice to have a new controller. It's like
only my
Xbox.
Like the feel.
My Xbox controller was busted. I never realized how bad my shoulder buttons were until I used a new one. I was like, oh, that thing was broken. Yeah,
in working on FIFA achievements, I've been using a second controller, trying to get some of them. The second controller I've got is the Scorpio controller.
Right.
X. I literally brand new. I've used it like 6 times, so it was like, this feels so good. Shame it's not my Elite, but it feels so good.
Well, like there's so many improvements to the Xbox One controller because I had the launch controller I was still using. Like even the little rubberized bottom part feels good. Where it's like, it's not full rubber. It's just like a little bit grippy. And it's like, ooh, this is, that's nice.
It's a shame you didn't have $150 to spend on an Elite controller because those things are life changers.
Yeah, and I feel like to me, I don't play the Xbox One enough to justify the investment.
True, but it's also a PC controller.
That's fair, but I also don't play my PC.
And you can also spend $50 and get a dongle and use it on your PlayStation.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's just we've talked about it a lot on the show. Our controller preferences are exactly the opposite in nearly every facet. So it's like, it's so funny to me saying like, yeah, I could use the Xbox One controller on a PS4, or I could use my PS4 controller on my Xbox One. And it's not even, to me, it's not even like how much I like one console over the other. It's just that controller feels so great in my hands, to the same way that I know the Elite controller, like, you put your hands on it and you're like, yeah, I'm home. This feels perfect.
It also helps that thing is heavy.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's sort of a bummer about some controllers. Like, the new Xbox One feels good, and then the PS4 one feels good, but sometimes, like, even a little bit more weight wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. Stick some lead balls in that thing. Just get it a little heavier.
Yeah. T-Bomb Rocks also asks, with Streets of Rage 4 being released new hand-drawn style for the new console, got me thinking, what are some franchises from a 16/32-bit era you would want a similar direct sequel?
Dimebag in chat with a great suggestion of Golden Axe.
That's a really... I'd be curious to see what someone could make, ignoring the 360 Golden Axe game.
Oh, you mean the Resident Evil Golden Axe games?
Yeah, that thing was... Ignoring that, like, what would a new Golden Axe look like? I wonder if it would almost look like Castle Crashers. Not poop-soaked, but like... I remember the pooping deer.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I remember from that game.
Dude, that game is filthy on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it would like Scott Pilgrim is a prime example of how you do a side-scrolling action game in modern day.
That's basically a sequel of River City Ransom. They literally copied that game, but in a really great way. I mean, my answer for the longest time would have been Toe Jam and Earl, but man, we're
getting that.
Totally getting that game in, what is it, September? 2 months. So
you're getting that. I'm getting Streets of Rage, which is always my jam. But I go back to those times and I say, well, okay, what other games did I play at that time? Super Hang-On.
Yeah.
But we get, like, how many MotoGP games a year these days?
Yeah.
And then there was Super Monaco F1, or Super Monaco GP, which is essentially a Formula 1 game, which we get a Formula 1 game every year now, so that's that taken care of as well.
Sonic Mania just came out, and that's another 16-bit Sonic game. You know, like...
Alex Kidd. Give me a good remake of Alex Kidd.
Yeah, well, they just had one, right?
Yeah, but did it have the rock, paper, scissors, completely BS boss battles at the end of every single level?
Oh boy, I don't remember. I think they... Yeah, I always get Alex Kidd and Monster World mixed up. So
Alex Kidd is the one with the fist the size of his brain.
Yeah. Jimbo Jangle says the strike games, like Urban Strike, Jungle Strike. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, Ace Combat 5 kind of had some of that with the helicopter missions in there.
Oh, yeah. Dimebag 315 lays out one of my most frustrating experiences with Genesis game, Kid Chameleon. The seemingly never-ending game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would have said Theme Hospital, but...
Yeah, 2 Point Hospital just came out. I also didn't realize how expensive it is. It's $40.
Oh.
I was going to pick it up, and I was like, all right, let's pull up the Steam, $40. Okay.
Is it... I was about to ask if it's on Origin then, but no, it probably wouldn't be, considering their relationship with those people.
Yeah, I think it's self-published.
Oh. But dude, I want to support them, though. This is a Vampyr situation again. Do I drop $40 on this game that I don't know?
I know. But then, like, I don't even have a great place to play it. You know, I hate to say this because I hate when people do it, but, like, put it on Switch.
Hashtag how long to Switch.
Yeah, I hate when people do port begging for Switch, but I get it. But
hashtag how long to Xbox? Punks. Come on. Nicholas.
When the sun dies.
Yes.
As the Earth is disintegrating, they push the publish button on Steam.
Yeah,
we finally did it.
The universe approaches.
All right, well, we're out of time, so there's a couple more questions here in the show notes. We'll save those until next week. But I have, as we talked about, I have a doctor's appointment to go to for not me, but my cat. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere you can find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to join the Discord server. It's hopping like crazy, especially with people getting back into Destiny 2 and begging me to come on Xbox One.
Yep.
I'd love
to.
Thank you. That just totally derailed my train of thought.
Yep.
Game Club this month, Ori and the Blind Forest. If you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones or numbers, you can go vote on what game we'll be playing next. There are 3 choices. I won't spoil which one they are. There was a good question posed in Discord that someone didn't know what the 3 games are. Check out some trailers. You might find a new game you're interested in playing and find a new one to vote for. And YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, all those places, find us and follow us there, and it will let you know when we go live. We'll see you all next week.
Bye. Tell a friend.
Hashtag tell a friend.
Yep.
Alright, hit me with those titles.
Okay. Replace the plank with me. Working as intended. Someone made of marshmallow. Duck emoji button. I'm in both phases. Hollow Knight Blight Town. Thank you, America. And not poop soaked.
I made the wrong decision twice. The achievement hunter I want to be made out of marshmallow and then replaced the plank with me.
Oh, I don't know. Nothing's really jumping out me.
I kind of like the achievement hunter I want to be.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up adult life.
Yeah. Made out of marshmallow is pretty good. I feel like we didn't have a ton of titles this week for some reason. Sometimes we just have a week where we're not being witty.
It's a little more serious.
Yeah. Give Luis a little bit of water there.
Yeah, let's see if she actually drinks it.
So no, you backwashed it.
She's just curious because it makes noises.
Oh yeah.
Like we've got a big water tank, and whenever it blubs, she runs away from it.
I could vote for made out of marshmallow. Marshmallow is just a fun word.
Oh yeah, marshmallows. It's a fun word. It's a fun food. It's great in everything.
I'll circle it.
It's great to put on cookies. It's great to put in hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Is marshmallow ever bad, other than when it's a man?
It catches on fire easily.
Well, that's not the marshmallow's fault. That is the person who's making its fault for not paying attention to said marshmallow.
That's fair.
The same could be said about forests, dude.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about like in a s'mores context. It just, for some reason, I remember it being very likely to catch on fire. I don't remember what that is. I like Dimebag's title by Tell a Friend.
That's actually really good as well.
All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 567 for September 3rd, 2018, made out of marshmallow.
Wibbly wobbly.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I gotta go. Bye.